I'm sorry there was no podcast last week, but I was moving house, hence the different backdrop. This week I have twice as much jet lag news, so let's get into it. Let's start with some research. Researchers in China looked at the possible link between catch-up sleep, where you sleep in a bit on weekends, and aging. Using a sleep questionnaire in a total of 4,713 participants, the researchers found that, quote, 0 to 2 hours catch-up sleep is associated with a reduced risk of aging, and the relationship is more significant in participants who go to bed early and have healthy sleep patterns. So there you have it. Sleep's good for you. More research in catch-up sleep also out of China. Researchers performed analysis in 9,096 participants in a database. Catch-up sleep might be linked to strokes, but they found that, quote, moderate weekend catch-up sleep of 1 to 2 hours was associated with lower stroke prevalence, particularly among high-risk populations. However, the researchers stressed that this is an association rather than evidence of causality. Correlation is not causation. Over to the United States. In a review out of New York looking at the use of orange-tinted lenses to exclude blue light, this was a review and the researchers found that, quote, relatively few studies have been done and, quote, study findings were inconsistent, with some showing benefit and others showing no effect of intervention. By intervention, they mean the orange-tinted glasses. They sum up saying, quote, there is some, albeit mixed, evidence that this approach can improve sleep, particularly in individuals with insomnia, bipolar disorder, delayed sleep syndrome, or attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Again, more blue light research, this time out of Switzerland. In a review looking at the effect of blue light from electronic devices, the researchers found that, quote, blue light might have some negative effects, such as a decrease in sleep quality and sleep duration, which might worsen an athlete's physical and cognitive performance and recovery. And finally, the last bit of research, in a study out of Boston, the United States, in 38,838 healthy adults, they looked at the combined impact of 4 circadian alignment behaviours, calling the core 4. Morning sunlight exposure, time-restricted eating, zone 2 cardiovascular training, and breath work on sleep consistency, cardiorespiratory fitness, and parasympathetic activity. And this was done using a wrist-worn device, and they found, quote, increased engagement in the core 4 behaviours was associated with improvements in sleep consistency. Okay, now let's see what's happening in the world of business travel. In the European Union, there are now new rules for entering some European countries which require travellers to enter their personal data into the new Entry-Exit System, or EES, as of the 12th of October. So there could be delays in the system as it's starting up and queues at the airport. Facial scans and fingerprinting will replace passport stamps across 29 countries in the Schengen zone, including France, Italy, Spain, Greece, Switzerland, Iceland, and the Netherlands. So just be aware of delays when travelling into Europe. In the UAE, travel experts agree on where to avoid sitting on the plane if you're a nervous flyer and the best seat on the plane. According to multiple former Emirates cabin crew members, it is the exit row window seat, typically 20 seats 21A and 21F. If you have room to stretch out, you've got a window beside you, and the middle of the plane typically experiences less turbulence than either the front or the back. In Australia, economy passengers on Virgin Australia flights will be restricted to one standard carry-on bag under new baggage allowance rules. They have the restriction of 8 kilos, Qantas has the restriction of 7 kilograms. The new luggage restriction is due to the overcrowding in overhead lockers, although Economy X passengers will be allowed 2 carry-on bags. The airline claims a survey of its passengers found that 97% wanted airlines to enforce carry-on rules. Virgin's new carry-on baggage system comes into effect as of the 2nd of February 2026. Staying with Virgin Australia, Virgin flights between Melbourne and the Gold Coast or Melbourne and the Sunshine Coast, passengers can take pets on board. The pets will not be roaming through the cabin. You can't have them on your lap. They will be in a secure harness under the seat. And the weight of the pet plus the harness must not exceed 8 kilograms, so no golden retrievers will be boarding. Some sage advice for Qantas customers who have had their personal data hacked. Hang up on cold calls from people claiming to represent legitimate businesses and call back through the official phone line. Also, check that emails in the official address qantas.com or qantas.com.au, not imitations such as qantas.net or qantas.biz. The National Privacy Regulator also recommends that Australians change their email account passwords and enable two-step authentication. In the United States, most business travellers hate red-eye flights, but pilots love them. Early morning flights have dramatically higher on-time performance compared with flights in the afternoon. The plane has been sitting at the gate since the night before, and it's ready to go first thing. In the US, during the worst of summer months, the earliest morning flights are 30% more likely to depart on time compared with evening flights. Also in the United States, Igor Karpovich in Forbes writes about optimizing corporate travel, stating that every company is responsible for taking steps to keep employees safe while they travel. Part of this duty of care includes offering support in emergency situations and monitoring risks in certain travel destinations. I would include jet lag as part of the duty of care. And now, over to sport. The University of Maryland Terrapins played against the UCLA Bruins in Pasadena, and there were concerns that the Terrapins would have their performance impaired because of jet lag. Those fears were well founded, with the UCLA beating Maryland 20-17. So that's a bit of a margin. And jet lag is a factor even within the United States. The Denver Broncos took the unusual step of not having a bye after their match in London, where they defeated the New York Jets 13-11 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Instead, they went straight back to play the New York Giants, and I wondered at the time if this was brave or crazy. It turns out it was just brave, and the Broncos defeated the New York Giants in a nail-biting finish 33-32. So congratulations to the Denver Broncos. Also in American football, the Jacksonville Jaguars played against the Los Angeles Rams at Wembley Stadium in London. Jaguars coach Liam Cohen was downplaying any jet lag advantage for the Jaguars, which they absolutely had, and he was wise not to. The Rams absolutely destroyed the Jaguars 35-7, so congratulations to the Rams for overcoming the extra jet lag. In Chile, the South Africa under-20 team has been eliminated from the 2025 under-20 FIFA World Cup, being knocked out in round 16 against Colombia. Star Tylan Smith said in a social media post, quote, "The jet lag, it's terrible, you know. In the last couple of weeks, according to the tournament, it went well, but also it didn't because we haven't achieved what we wanted, like obviously making it to the final. But it's football, we learn. Better luck next time, guys." In the United Kingdom, the Kangaroos Australian rugby team is flying over to London and wearing sunglasses with orange-tinted lenses, which may or may not be effective, we've found out, on what their coaches said are the worst flights possible. They'll be playing against England in the same arena that the Los Angeles Rams defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars, Wembley Stadium. Here's wishing the best of luck to the Kangaroos in London. Back to the United States. American football fans have been worried that match scores are lower when they play in Europe because of jet lag. Ian Allen from Fantasy Football Index went into detail. No, scores are not lower in Europe, and I suspect it's because both teams are jet lagged. And finally, a couple of things. First, from the Netherlands. Have you ever had something land on your desk that makes absolutely no sense? And that happened to me. In a thesis about the 3D printing, the material coming out of the jets can lag, being a bit behind where the jet is, and the thesis author called this jet lag. Absolutely not. The term jet lag is already taken, so go find something else to call it. And lastly, the final question. With all this talk about AI, am I worried about being replaced by AI? I use AI to generate hellscapes about jet lag, such as this one. But as it turns out, absolutely not. In a global study that evaluated the capabilities of several large language models to give evidence-based advice on sleep and jet lag for athletes, the researchers found, quote, insufficient information and frequent errors. So no, I'm not being replaced. If you have any questions or want to know more about what I do, check out my website at www.jetlagguide.com.au. There's another book on the way, and you'll be the first to know when it's released. And that's this fortnight's jet lag in the news. I'm Steve Jasper, aka the Jet Lag Guy.